Hey y'all, thanks for landing on my page. I don't know how you found me, but I'm glad that you found me. And I am super duper excited because two things. This is my first hair video for 2024. And then second, it's my first video of me doing somebody else's hair outside of my own hair. And there was another video on here, but that was from 4 years ago. So we are starting our YouTube page off fresh. We have been uploading weekly. I've been incorporating my life, wellness, and hair because I'm a cool lady. You know what I'm saying? So I want my community, whether that be beauty, wellness, however you found me, to get to know me more outside of hair. So here we are with my very first video of doing a blowout with the round brush. Now, if I could be completely honest, I hated doing blowouts with the round brush. I absolutely hated it. We had to do it in cosmetology school, and it was just not my favorite. Once I moved up into the world in the beauty industry, I was working at Hair Cuttery. I don't know if that's the East Coast thing, if y'all know. I was working at a hair cuttery. I gave myself a goal. I was like, you're not going to be here for longer than, I gave myself 2 years because I wanted to learn how to do diverse hair. And I also just wanted to make sure that I was honing on to my skills and being open-minded about different hair textures, right? So I actually learned to hone on to blowouts there. But moving forward in my career, I really wasn't doing blowouts like that. I was doing blowout-esque vibes, but it wasn't with the round brush. It was with the paddle brush and using the barrel curling iron. So that's that. So once I moved to LA, and Kelly Wood and I shared a suite together. She's the blowout queen. If you don't know, look her up. I literally learned a lot from her, and also with me having my skills from earlier on in my career. So after that, it was kind of inevitable because, there are some clients whose hair is fine and doesn't require a lot of heat, and the round brush method allows someone with fine hair and not that dense hair to have the option to make their hair look fuller versus flat by using a paddle brush with just regular blow dry or with an attachment to it. So here we have my lovely client, Courtney. She said, Kira, we got to do something. I have been talking about getting this blunt cut for over a year, and I'm doing it. I said, okay, perfect. We talked about the length that she wanted to do, and just to confirm, and she said yes. But all in all, I could have cut her hair earlier on, so I wouldn't have to go through all of this. But sometimes y'all change your minds in the chair, so I at least wanted to give her the option, this is your last look. I don't want anybody to feel pressured, or, I know this is what you wanted to do, but you also have the option. So that's why I waited to cut her hair until we were done with the blow dry with the round brush. So here I am, cleansed her hair. She sat under the steamer, and I sectioned off her hair to make it easy for blow drying in the sections. And I'm using my amazing Dyson. Now, when I do my pop-ups in LA, which is quarterly, I move around in different salon spaces, not only to do my pop-ups, but to connect with other hairstylists that I may not know of, or just to have conversation. The beauty industry is so big, and it's new talent coming in every day, or maybe there are individuals that we might be friends on social media, and it's always good to be able to meet another stylist and just to have conversation and exchange information. So at one of the salons that I was working at, I looked at all the stylist stations, and they all had Dyson blow dryers. Now, mind you, even with the discount, I think the blow dryer is $3.99 if you're blessed, if they're able to have sent you one. And you just have to do content or whatever it is that they need. That's amazing. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. I said I'm going to go ahead and buy this. If it does not work, I'm taking it back because it has to be a reason why every last one of these hairstylists has a Dyson sitting at their station, just propped up with the stand and everything. I don't even have the stand yet, but I'm gonna get it. But I took it to LA. When I tell you it cut my time down in half, I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it. We were all shook, literally. Like, we couldn't believe it. So, when you see results like that, it's like you immediately want to buy it as a consumer. But for me, I still think I'm on the fence about the everyday woman buying that. Now, if you are very much so into your hair care regimen, then I would say, yeah, if you're into it, if you're a techie and you like Dyson, then I get it. You want to have all the Dyson things. But do I think you really need it? No. I have other recommendations of blow dryers that work just as well. I know it's aesthetically pleasing. That's why I bought the pink one. But if that's really the issue, because you want to have like your tools look a certain way, I get that. But I don't think you need to go and spend all this money. But it's amazing and I love it. So we're keeping it, obviously, because we're using it. Let's get into these round brushes. My choice of round brushes, okay? So I use the Ibiza round brushes, and shout out to Ibiza. If you have not checked out my latest, well, actually, it's my first video that I posted for 2024, was Get In, We're Going to Ghana. I share my whole trip when I went to Ghana, when I went to go party a little bit, enjoy the country, but also get down to business, which is educate the other hairstylists in Ghana. I had an amazing time working at Eden's Healthy Hair. Amazing time, and Ibiza sponsored the round brushes for the stylists, and I'm excited and still excited to see them using the tools and the techniques in the salon, because everybody wants to learn a new technique. Nobody wants to really be left behind. So the more you know, the more you educate yourself, you become like a really good, well-rounded hairstylist. So check that video out. So the Ibiza brushes, they're amazing. They have different types of brushes, especially for the texture hair that you're working with the density that you're working with. I usually use the coarse brushes that they have. They're just really good for smoothing out the cuticle of the hair with the heat, and just really gets it smooth and nice to touch, and still keeping that volume and bounce into the hair that we all want. But let me put a disclaimer out there, because I want you all to know that your hair must be in the tip-top healthy condition. Now, if you're experiencing breakage, you're in between colors, or you're in between healing your hair, it's very important that you have a consultation before getting a blowout with a round brush. Your hair may not adapt to the technique just because you may be experiencing like lack of moisture, again, breakage, and your hair just not being in a good position to receive the benefits of a blowout. So we want to heal our hair before we get into doing this, because your hair does have to be trained in that sense, like over time. But we also want to make sure that we are doing the things to make sure that your hair is being repaired to be able to receive a blowout. So all is not lost. We just need to repair and heal our hair. That's it, y'all. Okay, I'm not saying nobody can get a blowout, but also have to be mindful because textures are different. I'm using the Velcro rollers, and believe it or not, I got these Velcro rollers from Five Below. I bought this one pack, and I actually just went back a few days ago to buy a little bit more, because I needed more, and also I needed it for my LA pop-up too, which is March 19th through the 23rd. So if you are in LA and you're interested in getting service, I offer silk presses, blowouts, and curly cuts, hair treatments. I pretty much put all my clients on a regimen. I love to help heal hair. So if you're in a space that you just want to get in a regimen on a quarterly basis, I recommend doing quarterly plans, because it just allows for better planning, and it's good for timing wise when it comes to how often you should get your hair trimmed or cut, whatever it is that you need. So link is in the bio to book the appointment if you are interested. So Courtney has not done anything drastic like this at all. She is the first time mom. She's married. She's living her best life, and she just wants a new look. And I always say, like, don't play it safe, like be bold, and you have to own it. I know it takes you out of your comfort zone sometimes because now you have to figure out how to do your hair and you're so used to being able to put it in a bun. And then the whole time in a consultation or just like us having a conversation, she's just like, I'm going to be able to put in a little pony, right? A little pony. It's like, okay, yeah, you can put in a little pony, but I don't want you to be relying on the little pony. You know what I'm saying? Like, experiment with your hair, because when you do certain cuts like this, your hair starts to behave differently. So maybe I told her that she considered doing like 2-strand twists, like flat twists. That'll give her texture because her texture is a little bit looser, if you can kind of tell. It's not heat damage, but it's kind of heat trained. But it's also because we discovered that she wears buns all the time and she smooths her hair back all the time. So the more you keep brushing your hair over and over, like literally every day, and if you've been doing a bun for, let's just say, 10 years, your texture is going to be smoothed out because you're constantly brushing and knocking out the texture of your hair. So that's why usually the hair is smoother in the front and it's so much texture in the back because you're not doing that much to the hair in the back. You give the hair more attention in the front and around the perimeter than you do on the inside. So people are always like, my texture is different. It's like, no, it's been compromised. It's been damaged. You've been putting in the ponytail, breakage. It's so many different things that we have to put in perspective of the little things that we do that over time is not good for our hair. So we just have to, do less things to our hair. Just do what's needed, leave it alone, set a plan, and you're good to go. It's when you're not prepared and you don't have any hair ideas in mind, or you don't know what styles you want to do, especially with the seasons changing, you have to prepare for that because at the end of the day, your hair will suffer. So that's just a little tip that I like to tell my clients too. Okay, so now we are getting into the fun part. I mean, the round brush was a fun part, but this blunt cut that we're about to do. What I will say is that a lot of the times when I have like very sharp or detailed haircuts, I do like to do a rough cut. So that means I'm not trying to get it exactly perfect. I'm just trying to get the base covered. And then later on, after I'm done the styling, because that does make a difference, the hair does lay different. So then I go in and do like the final finishing touches of the bob just to make sure that everything is sharp and on point. So if you see some areas that you're like, you're a little crooked here, listen, we're going to fix that. So don't even worry about that. And as a stylist of over, I don't want to put my age out there, but at least over 20 years, I've been doing it since I was 16. Over time, you just start to break the rules. I hear a lot of stylists say that, but I like to mix and match the rules and what applies based on to the client that I'm working with. You'll see that I'm doing some straight across cutting, and then sometimes I'll do some point cutting. So that way it's not as dense in the hair, so the hair doesn't weigh super heavy, doesn't have a heavy bottom line. So then again later, like I said, once I do the final touches, then I'll go in and do some point cutting. You see other hairstylists vary from different cutting techniques, like why did she do a straight across, why didn't she point cut? It's all based on the stylist and the education that they have with working with different hair types. So that's really what it is. So here we are just checking to make sure that the front is meeting. She said that she had a wispy part in the front, but the wispy part wasn't as wispy as she thought, so it all worked out perfectly. So now I'm going in with my tiny red pearl. This is my favorite flat iron to get into the smaller areas like the nape of the neck. So I like to do this part around the perimeter. I know some people in other videos are like, now what you using this tiny flat iron for her whole head? I'm like, y'all, Y'all don't understand. I'm not using it on the whole head. I'm using it on the perimeter. I'll go in with my Babyliss Pro. I think that's how you say it. Babyliss Pro Titanium Flat Iron. I have had this flat iron for at least like 4 or 5 years. I want to say I got it in LA, and it's definitely been my go-to, one of my favorites. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. I normally do a lot of styling with this too. It's the beach wave look. I do those as well with this flat iron. So I will probably do another video showing that as well. But now I'm just going throughout the hair to kind of seal what we already did with our blow dry. And that's the other thing that I wanted to mention is that when you are doing blowouts, sometimes, yes, you can leave your hair out just with the blowout and, leave it that way if you don't want any additional heat onto your hair. But normally, if you want a finished, polished look or for styling purposes, you can use a flat iron, but you don't have to use a lot of heat on low, at least under 375. And then also you can use whatever curling irons, barrel curling irons that you have. That can help as well. Either you can just leave the blow dry if you feel like you want that big volume look, or you can finish it by using one of the hot tools, especially like for the edges and the remaining of the style. Using hot tools after the blow dry to finish also helps to set the style and keep the cuticle sealed, and it prevents from exposure to moisture that may be in the air. I know sometimes when people get their hair blown out or they get a flat iron, as soon as they go outside, that moisture grabs onto the hair and then your hair is poofy. And that's one of the reasons why it's very important to make sure that you are doing steam treatments so your hair can receive that moisture. I like to remind my clients that hair strands are like a plant. It is literally the same exact thing. The hair bulb, the plant bulb, the leaves, the strand, it's the same exact thing. So you want to make sure that you're nurturing it with moisture. A plant needs moisture, it needs water, it needs hydration in order to flourish, and a little bit of sunlight, right? And our hair requires the same exact thing except for not as much sunlight, you know what I mean? So as long as you're doing the steam treatments to allow your hair to get introduced to receiving moisture, that is also how you can change the porosity in your hair as well. I know a lot of people say, oh, my hair is dry, this and third, but your hair needs moisture. It doesn't need any more conditioners, different type of conditioners. It also depends on your case scenario, but for the most part, all of our hair, especially black hair, is strong, but it's also very sensitive. It can also be very dry. If you don't have access to a steamer, then you can use a hot towel maybe once or twice to make sure that the cuticles are opening up and receiving that moisture in your hair. And I'm telling you, the more you do this, you will see the results. Just be consistent, that's all. It's not going to happen overnight, so don't be hard on yourself, but just be consistent with it so your hair can get healed, because we're in the space of healing our hair. We're not playing around. We're getting the health of our hair together. Okay, we are wrapping it up. So now you see me blow drying my client's hair, but I'm blow drying it on cool. So I'm not sure if you know the benefits of blow drying your hair on cool, but it helps to seal the hair cuticles, reduces the frizz, and adds shine to the hair. It also prevents from excessive heat damage and helps retain moisture in the hair. So it's beneficial for individuals with damaged hair or delicate hair, so it reduces the risk of further damage. I had so much fun doing this this makeover. I love doing stuff like this. So listen to my client's reaction.
Oh my, why am I so nervous?
I don't know, looks
okay,
good.
Okay.
It's right here. I'm just holding it.
Kira! No, I'm dying. It looks really good. Oh my.
I told you, it looks so good.
Oh my god. That's a screw up on your side. You're gifted. Wait, let me stand up.
I told you, it looks so
I'm
good.
like, I like it. I'm just, this is so, I'm like speechless. I've never cut my hair before. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like choppy.
You're always in there like a mad scientist.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I already felt it. I knew it was good.
it.
Give me a second. You know me. That's what she said, not me.
Okay.
Well, like me,
Oh my
tell me something about
Sorry, I'm like
No,
freaking
take your
out.
time. You're fine. I know you. This is drastic for you.
It's very, very.
It's drastic for you.
I'll ask you a question.
I love
Nah,
it.
you look bomb.
I really love it.
I told you.
I can still put in a pony. Okay.
I'm gonna let the information fly.
I love like I don't know. I have this thing with like hair tucks, but I love when like I see girls with bobs, but they leave a little bit of hair out.
I do like that. I know. Because
They
for
took
me,
it
I
away.
can see my like
Yes.
tucking
Yes.
like that's because I hate when it's
Yeah.
always in my face anyway. But
Yeah, but if you want to, you can. But if not, no, yeah, that looks so good. I'm glad you didn't put it off
yes,
and you decided to do it.
I've been talking about it since like last year.
Oh yeah.
Right, and I'm like, just do it. This is ridiculous.
No, yeah. I'm glad you did it.